Have you noticed how things loom larger when they are closer to you, but appear smaller when they are at a distance? How our eyes perceive objects and their relations in space is a matter of perspective. Perspective can be used to create an illusion of three-dimensionality that mirrors reality. This commonly used technique is called linear perspective. There are also other alternative ways of arranging objects in space. In this video, we discuss perspective through two paintings: Chua Mia Tee's National Language class and Chen Swee's landscape. Chua's National Language class presents us with a scene of students seated around a table, engrossed in a Malay language class. Chua's classroom appears like a snapshot from real life. It's as if we are also present in the room, observing the class from the far right corner. The largest figures that we see are the seated student facing away from us and the standing student reading from his book. Relative to them, their classmates are smaller in size, with the teacher before the blackboard appearing the smallest. The front corner of the classroom gives us further information about our position. The combination of these elements gives the painting a sense of depth. This illusion of recession into the distance through scale is called linear perspective. Artists use this technique to create the impression of three-dimensional space on the two-dimensional plane of a canvas. This way, artists can depict scenes that mimic the spaces we inhabit in the lived world. Chua Mia Tee is a Singaporean artist who has been deeply engaged with issues of cultural and national identity throughout his practice. In the 1950s, Chua was a member of the Equator Art Society, which believed that art should reflect the reality of everyday life. National Language class captures the consciousness around national identity during a charged period of history. Singapore was considering its place as part of a wider Malaysian federation. And Malay was adopted as the national language to forge a shared identity. By positioning us within the space of the classroom, Chua allows us to imagine being part of the group of students. We share in their experience of learning a new language during a time of uncertainty and potential. National Language class has since become one of his most iconic paintings. Let's now look at Landscape by the Singaporean artist Chen Swee. In this work, a river winds through a mountainous vista. The work is rendered in the medium of Chinese ink and color on a vertical paper scroll. In the lower half of the painting, three figures walk along a path that recedes towards the kampong houses in the distance. Our eye level is located near the roofline of these houses. This means our vantage point is from an elevated spot, as if we are looking down at the three figures on their journey. At the same time, an invisible line extends from the atap roofs and leads our eye towards a boat on the river. Notice how the boat appears much smaller than the houses, suggesting that it is some distance away. Although the boat is along the same line as our initial eye level, the river stretches diagonally upwards beyond the boat. It's as if we have shifted to another position in the landscape and are now standing on the riverbank looking out. In the upper half of the painting, the expansive mountain view suggests yet another eye level. Here, Chen leads our eye out towards the rolling peaks in the horizon. With these scenes, multiple viewpoints have been brought together in this painting. How has Chen managed this? The middle section of the painting provides some clues if we look closely. Here, Chen has presented different elements in a curious way. The rock formation towers over the small boat, yet the coconut trees appear as large as the rocks. These incongruous elements come together harmoniously through Chen's use of loose yet precise brushstrokes. A muted color palette further blurs the delineation between forms. It is this mastery of technique that allows Chen to compose a work that incorporates multiple viewpoints. The shifting eye levels allow us to perceive the mountain landscape in the background, the boat and river in the midground, and the kampong scene in the foreground as a single cohesive composition. This approach is often observed in depictions of landscape in Chinese ink. Shifting perspectives are particularly useful in the representation of panoramic subjects, like mountains and rivers. These would be impossible to capture in their sweeping entirety from a single viewpoint. Chen Swee migrated to Singapore from China in the 1930s as a young art graduate. He was trained in Chinese ink painting and was also familiar with modern artistic movements such as Impressionism, Cubism, and abstraction. Like many of his fellow migrant artists from China, Chen believed that art should reflect its environment and speak to its local audience. These artists merged various artistic techniques and approaches with the depiction of distinctively Southeast Asian subjects. National language class and landscape are examples of how artists apply perspective to create impactful images. In fact, artists may also manipulate perspective to create complex compositions that emphasize particular elements. The ways artists present objects and their spatial and temporal relations shape how we look at the worlds they create.